Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 ridiculously expensive things Vladimir Putin owns. So, whether it's for reasons good or bad, we all know the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Officially, his salary is $100,000 a year. However, many experts say his net worth is closer to somewhere like $200 billion. This is because he owns a lot of stocks in many Russian companies such as Gazprom, the national gas company. But regardless of what Putin's true net worth really is, here are some expensive things he owns. Before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10 is watches. So many people collect things like coins or stamps. But for the super rich, many of them collect watches. Well, Vladimir Putin is quite the watch connoisseur himself. In fact, he has a watch collection worth over $1 million. And he doesn't exactly hide it. In many meetings, he likes to rest his hand on his cheek, showing off his expensive timepieces. One of his most expensive watches, an A. Sohn, could be worth over $500,000 alone. That's 5 years of Putin's salary. But that's not his only watch, he actually has many. And people have tallied up that in total, his watch collection is worth anywhere from $700,000 to $1 million. According to people close to Putin, two things he finds very important is to look sharp and be punctual. And a very classy watch allows you to do both. In fact, he's rarely ever seen without one of his watches. Even when he's vacationing in Siberia, he still wears a watch. And he's also been known to give away his cheaper $15,000 watches to children and his workers. Next up is toilet. So you wouldn't exactly think of a toilet being worth much money, but Vladimir Putin's toilet is actually very expensive. We've all seen Donald Trump's golden toilet on his plane. But another world leader, Vladimir Putin, also has a very expensive private toilet. Putin actually has a golden toilet of his own, and it's apparently worth $75,000. Now, this toilet is not solid gold. However, it is very classy and is gold plated. Yeesh, how embarrassing to only have a gold plated toilet and not a solid gold toilet. I think Putin needs to sell some of his watches to improve his toilet game. Next up is suits. So we've already established that Putin likes to look sharp. Well, wherever Putin goes, he wears very expensive, tailored, bespoke suits. But each one of Putin's suits is worth at least $5,000. According to insiders, he prefers Italian tailored suits. And the cost on average is around $5,000 of one of those suits. Coincidentally, $5,000 is also the average annual Russian wage. So that's like an American world leader wearing a $30,000 suit all the time. People who work with the president say his favorite brands are Chiton and Brioni. Many say Brioni suits show power and wealth. And by the looks of it, it seems like Putin has both. Next up is palaces. Of course, Putin lives a pretty lavish lifestyle. But what does his home look like? Well, Putin's home is more like a palace. Putin actually has access to around 20 palaces, villas, and other residences. Now, he doesn't own all of these, the Russian state do, however he can use them. Villa Segren, located in Finland, is said to be the most lavish and best palace owned by Putin, and locals have even nicknamed it Putin's Palace. But where is Putin's main house? Well, the residence is called the Palace of Cape Idokopas. It's built on the Black Sea and cost over $1 billion to make. Inside is a swimming pool, a casino, a billiard room, and also many gilded bedrooms. Around all of his homes are many snipers and policemen. Putin's luxury houses have caused a lot of controversy, but they are very fancy. Next up, we have planes. So one of the ways Putin gets around is by airplane. He actually has to leave the country around 5 times every month. This is often to go on trips to meet other world leaders. But Putin doesn't just have 1 or 2 planes. Instead, he has access to 58 different planes. The US president only gets 1 plane and 1 helicopter. But for some reason, Putin has a fleet of 58 different aircraft worth over $1 billion. Of course, these aren't personally owned by him, but by the Russian state. However, he has access to them all. This means every aircraft trip he takes in a year, he could pick a different plane for. Unfortunately, there's no Floyd Mayweather-style group photo of all of these planes together. But it seems Putin's favorite plane is a French-built 19-seat Dassault Falco. However, the most luxurious plane in the Russian plane fleet has to be the Russian version of the Air Force One. That is, the Russian-made Ilyushin 96. The entire plane is gold-plated and was made for $11 million. It's also home to the infamous golden toilet that we talked about before. So we know the price of the gold plating for this plane was $11 million, but how much is the entire plane? Well, the Russian Air Force One is said to be worth around $500 million. And apparently, every time it flies, there are 4 more flying around it to disguise which one the president is really in. If that's not tight security, I don't know what is. Coming up next is cars. So we already know that Putin has access to a ton of different planes. But once you hear how big his car collection is, your jaw will drop. Putin has over 700 vehicles at his disposal. This includes vintage Bentleys, which are worth millions of dollars. There's also an array of supercars from Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Up until recently, his business ride has been an armored Mercedes S-Class limousine. The price of one of these things is $250,000, but his new car is actually a Russian-made limousine. It's kind of like Trump's car, the Beast, which I have an entire video on. The new Russian limo called the Quartzet was actually seen in Helsinki this week, and it's said to be based off the Beast and also the Rolls-Royce Phantom. And believe it or not, it cost over $50 million to make this. Not only that, Putin always travels in a massive motorcade. In the motorcade is his car, 4 other cars, and 12 motorcycles. If there's one thing we can learn about Putin here, it's that he loves security. Next up is yacht. So Putin has a lot of land and air vehicles, but he also has yachts. In fact, in 2012 he was actually gifted a $35 million yacht. The yacht is called an Olympia and is 57 meters. It was a gift from Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich, who is also the owner of Chelsea FC. But sorry Roman, that's not Putin's best yacht. Putin also has access to another yacht worth $100 million. The yacht has 13 cabins and can accommodate 12 guests and 14 crew members. It's also got the largest pool ever installed on a yacht. If Putin was to buy this with his own salary, it would take 1,200 years. Some say he simply charged this personal expense to the country, but allegedly this yacht is owned by the Russian state and not by Putin himself. Either way, it seems like Putin really does love yachts. Next up is art. So, you may think a gift for a $35 million yacht is good, but did you know that Putin actually inherited an art collection worth $2 billion? It seems Putin is a lover of anything expensive. In one of his heavily guarded apartments in downtown Moscow sits an art collection worth $2 billion. It was a gift from an elderly couple given to the president. This includes old masterpieces from Rembrandt and Leonardo da Vinci. The art collection was hidden from the Bolsheviks during the revolution, and some say it was even stolen from Germany during World War II. But it is pretty insane to know that Putin inherited this $2 billion gift. Next up is gym clothes. So we already know that Putin's bespoke suits are very expensive, but that's kind of obvious, right? Well, in 2015, Putin and Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev worked out together. They had a healthy morning working out and barbecuing. But after pictures of their healthy morning were released, it was revealed Putin's sweatsuit cost $3,200. He wore a pair of $1,425 cashmere and silk jogger pants made by Leroy Piana, and his matching Leroy Piana Portland track top is worth $3,200. That's right guys, $3,200 for a white t-shirt. Next up is helicopters. So we've seen that Putin has yachts, cars, and airplanes. But did you know that Putin's favorite mode of transport is helicopters? Insiders say that he prefers helicopters to cars. And because of this, he has an undetermined number of Russian-made MIAs. People aren't actually sure how many of these helicopters he has, but I assume it's a lot. Inside these helicopters are leather upholstery, an audio system, big TVs, and mood lighting. There are also many other modern appliances adding to these helicopters, and all of these additions to the helicopters cost around $4 million per helicopter. The Mi-8s also come with aggressive countermeasure capabilities. They're made to make sure that no one can intercept Putin or harm him. So guys, that is the lavish lifestyle of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Leave a comment letting me know if you think he lives too lavishly or not. And check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the most amazing thing owned by Putin. I think it's gotta be the golden toilet, because that is purely crazy. If you guys want more amazing videos, check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen in a moment. And I'll even play a sample of that channel on screen right now. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.